Oh, Simon Brown is live now and watch it online.
Yeah, we're now watch it online. Let's just see whether or not we're actually live on Watch It in Line. This will be interesting.
So it just said on it just come up on my phone saying that you're live on Watch It Online.
Scott Doonican's likes your live video. Oh, we got somebody already watching. And good evening. Welcome everybody. Now we've just got to turn around and find out whereabouts we are with everything and get the messaging up. Sam, do you want to introduce yourself to the whole world? Now it's 9 o'clock, and give them a little bit about what we are.
Good evening. Welcome to the Man Cave, aka my kitchen, Simon's shop. This is a thing where men can chat, have a conversation, bit of banter, bit of fun, find out about what's going on in day-to-day life, and just let you know it's okay not to be okay. So, what's been going on in your life, Simon Bratton?
Well, as most of you might know, if you're watching this, that we're Sam's mum and myself are part of the team that's running up the coronavirus helpline. So we're busy. We're really busy, stressfully busy, but having a bit of fun busy as well at the same time. So part of the whole point about everything we're seeing and everything we're going on was setting this up to try and make sure that guys get a chance to, well, I suppose loose men, I don't know, Parkinson on COVID.
loose men's a bit of an odd one to use, but yeah, we'll take it. We'll go with that.
Well, the girls have got loose women. The men have got nothing, and what's more, we don't talk.
Well, now's the perfect time. Seeing as nobody's going out anywhere, no one's going to the pub, no one's going to the theatre, cinema, bowling, having a romantic date out with anyone.
To be fair, we're having a romantic date here, mate. So
this is far from romantic, my friend. Far from romantic. I am sat in my kitchen next to my washing machine with a glass of wine. This is not romantic.
Listen, if you're married to your mother, this is romantic.
If I was married to my mother, I should be living in Bridgewater.
Oh, that's true. You can't say that. So we've got a few people on already. Simon Champion, watching from Gran Canaria.
Yeah,
Hi, Simon.
It's all right when you're locked down in a nice hot country and sitting there taking pictures of your legs and posting them on Facebook. All it makes me want is KFC. I just see chicken. That's all I see when he puts his legs out.
It does make you not want to be a man when you see that, doesn't it? At the end of the day.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're gonna post pictures of your manly legs, don't shave them. You know, and don't have your tramp stamp tattoo on the top of your thigh sticking out. It's just not right.
We've also got, I think, Jackie Bale. Good evening, Jackie. Of course, Jackie is the one that runs the whole of Watch It Music Festival. Nobody else is involved with it. We do know that for a fact.
She's got a husband, hasn't she? That he does something. I don't know what it is.
I think he doesn't. He put a tent up somewhere or something like that.
But yeah. Someone in the back waits to get autographs from various celebrities and like a little fan girl.
He just can't help himself, can he? There's always one wherever you go, though, isn't there?
Yeah. Well, see, while you've been having like an extremely busy week,
yeah,
I have had the complete opposite. Despite the fact of having 3 kids at home and a pregnant missus at home, I have had all I've been doing is building decking, having a barbecue, and a competition in the kitchen about who can bake the best dessert and meal. That's essentially been my week.
And but we all know that actually your 5-year-old daughter won the cooking competition with a rhubarb crumble.
That was incredible. I can't even argue with it. There was a lot of sugar in it. I'm not sure measurements quite came out how they should have done, but it was good. After brushing my teeth 4 times afterwards, I think it's fine. Should be all right.
Excellent. So, right, I suppose we ought to better explain as well, because we've got a few more people coming on now, and they're all going to sort of wonder what's sorry. You can message into the show. We're picking your messages up live as they come in. So, Simon Champion, going back to you a minute, you had to shave your legs so that they would tan.
No, that's not how science works.
No. Terry Hancock, hi. Rob Mobley, hi. Let's have a look at the rest of the comments. There's more coming in. It says there's 11 comments, but I can only see 4 of them. I think I probably need to go to a different page with this.
Well, you can see more than I can, because I'm on an iPhone.
So, yeah, we got stuff coming in now. Now, we have got every single week, we're going to be doing this on a Thursday night at 9 o'clock, and we will be having special guests coming on. And I'm really, really pleased to be able to turn around and say to you that our first ever Man Cave special guest is none other than the hero and the legend that is Scott Doonican from the Bar-Stewards. We've all seen him, I'm sure. Scott will be with us in around about 5 or 10 minutes time. So we're just going to sort of run through some of the things that we are going to be doing on the show. So in a little bit of what we want to be doing is bringing you a little bit up to date with the news, in case anyone hasn't actually seen it, even though actually there's nothing else on television but the news.
Yeah, but on the plus side, because of the news, that means this show will go on for at least another 3 weeks.
There is that. There is that as well. Well, no, hang on. It will go on for another 3 weeks if enough people like it.
Well, it's been fun.
I'll see you on the other side, mate. Right, so yeah, I mean, in the news today, we saw that Donald Trump, he has turned his back on the World Health Organization. That's really going to help, isn't it?
He's turned his back on everything. He's been doing conferences every day, and watching a man who at one point said that people are going to die from this that have never died before, and now can't pronounce the name of tablets and medication that he's saying could help fight the coronavirus that they want to test on people. He can't pronounce the names of them. And then as soon as he has pronounced it right, it goes on to the medical scientists after him, who basically say everything he said is completely wrong. This is a man that is in power.
Then we actually know that everything that Donald Trump says is technically totally wrong anyway. So
I don't know. Fake news is right. What he says is all fake news. So technically, not everything he says is wrong, just the majority.
I had a good quote earlier on. Actually, came from our guest. I was having a chat with our guest a little bit earlier on, just to remind him, because of his age, at what time 9 o'clock actually was. So, you know, which he will get me back for that in a minute. But we actually worked out that Donald Trump has probably got the cure for coronavirus. It's actually called the nuclear red frigging button, and he's just going to blame China and that press it, and that's it done.
Well, yeah, but then where's he going to buy his steel from?
Good point.
Anyway, this is getting far too political, and my political knowledge goes as far as I know who Donald Trump is and I know what he does. That's it.
Right. Anything you've seen funny on Facebook this week?
Well, apart from people trying to work out simple maths and trying to guess how many shoes a caterpillar's wearing while riding a lion and throwing a brick for a window at a chicken laying 27 eggs. I've been seeing various. I do like a page called Bad Dad Jokes, and to be fair, that has been keeping me going through dark times, because I find them hilarious. And what I find even funnier is when I tell my other half how funny they are, and she looks at me like I've just kicked a dog.
To be fair, Sam, I've actually been on the other end of your bad dad jokes, and they're shite.
They're amazing.
No, they're shite.
No, they're not. Right. So what's the difference between Abu Dhabi and Dubai?
I really don't know, mate. What's the difference between Abu Dhabi and Dubai?
Well, the people in Dubai don't like the Flintstones, but the people in Abu Dhabi do.
No. See, this is what I've had in the last week.
See, but you giggled. I told Nikki, and she looked at me, stone-faced, nothing, no emotion whatsoever.
Yeah,
That genuinely made me. I laughed so much at that because it was stupid. It made my stomach hurt.
To be fair, though, Sam, at the end of the day, you're spending isolation with Nikki. What do you expect her to do with you in the house like you are?
Find me hilarious. That's exactly what I expect.
and you don't think men have got mental health problems, right?
Oh, well, I'd never said that. But if I laugh at a stupid joke, what else am I going to laugh at? My kid's building a den out of pallets and screws and not knowing about it until you hit the sound of a drill and a hammer and then turn around, there's 3 pallets missing and a tarpaulin, go up to the top of the garden and they've built a little man cave themselves. Luckily, none of them got Facebook, otherwise this would be obsolete.
Hello, Ross Starring, by the way, he just come online. Loretta Wetlaw, hello, darling. Of course, you had to be there. What do you mean that was terrible? What was terrible? Oh, the joke. Yeah, right. Okay.
Whoa. Who said that?
Scott Doonican's loving Loretta, apparently. But then actually this happened on the phone earlier on, but we'll go into that when, it actually took Loretta only 2.5 seconds to give her phone number out to Scott when he rang me earlier on. She's in there but then you know what Loretta's like for getting in there,
Right.
If she's not in the photograph, hey, I hope I choose. So, anything else in the news, mate?
Well, it's all pretty drab and dreary, other than good old Captain Moore earning over £13 million now for the NHS,
mate.
Walking 100 laps of his garden.
You are so behind in the news. It's actually top 15 million. I checked just before I come out the door.
But see, this is it. And I luckily managed to spend 40 quid in Tesco's earlier, and thought, Jesus Christ. So then after that, I thought, right, I spent 40 quid in here. Then you read that sort of stuff. Fine, here you go. Here's tenner.
Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
what he's doing, if I walk my garden, it feels like nothing. The guy's 100 or 99 doing laps of his garden to raise money. And I saw the Guard of Honour he had today, which I think was amazing.
Absolutely superb. Yeah. Brilliant. But again, see, though, it just goes to two-man show at the end of the day, doesn't it? I mean, what us blokes can actually do. Do we actually need women? Look at that. 100 years old, and he's going up and down there, and he's raising 15 million quid. Do we really need women to two-man and or I don't know. What's the answer?
Now you're crossing a grey area there, but I'm not sure if I want to be on your side for that, because I'm locked in a house with a hormonal pregnant lady. So you'll see. You're in the shop.
Yes, but that means the front door could be locked when I get back and bolted, and I can't get in.
Yes, but you still can sleep in the shop.
Well, there is that, and the heater's quite nice.
I can't sleep in the car or the garden. It's cold.
Cool. So I think it's probably around about time that we brought our special guest on for this evening.
Let's see him, Scott Doonican.
Go. Let's see the man. I wonder what the jumper is. Let's have a go. Let's bring Scott in and see what he's up to.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, I missed it. Where?
Let's bring Scott in and see what he's up
There we
to.
go.
Am I there? 1 minute. I'm just going to have to shut my other browser.
Oh, look at that. It's the technical stuff now. This is the technical changeover, folks. This is where we realise that we can't actually do anything that we think we can do.
Hang on. Yes, I'm here. Hello.
Who's there? Scott, good evening, mate.
How are you doing? Sorry, I was watching the show on Facebook and then I realised there'd probably be a delay, so I had to quickly switch that off and then. Evening.
Welcome, mate. Good. Yes, cheers. Good to see you. Yeah, we've all.
I feel like the least manly man out of here with you two drinking red wine and me on the manly. Let's call it light red.
Well, let's be honest. We're all on the wine tonight, so that must mean that it's Thursday. Is it Thursday?
It's wine night on a Thursday night. This is because we're all connoisseurs, of course.
Well, obviously, yeah. Thursday night in RS is wine night. I think Friday is gin night. And Saturday is a free for all. It's the only way that you can tell what day it is now. So that's how I'm rolling with it. I hope it works for you guys.
Absolutely. I think in our house, I think it's Guinness on a Monday.
Yeah.
Lager on a Tuesday, cider on a Wednesday, brandy on a Friday, wine obviously on a Thursday. Saturday we don't care because we just drink whatever else is left and we're just completely bollocksed. So it doesn't matter. And then Sunday you just go back to coffee because you need to get rid of the hangover.
Whereas if you go around to Craig David's house, he chills on Sunday.
Oh God, it's getting worse.
I'm here all week.
Can I just say now, it's great that we've got a guest on the first week, but I'm a little bit concerned that by the end of this lockdown and everything, that every guest we have is going to have significantly more hair than the two of us combined. I haven't got a lot. I mean, you've got a hell of a lot less, and obviously, Scott's hair's real, but this isn't right. Look at it. It's like two eggs on the top.
You see, I don't know what you're seeing. If you're seeing it in the same order as me, with Simon on the left and you at the bottom, is that what you're seeing?
No, I've got me top left, Simon top right, and you down below me.
See, so it's depending on which computer we're looking at, it's all different.
Yeah.
But from where I'm looking at, it looks like the evolution of man, so it's quite good.
Jenny Morgan, lovely comment from her. Only girls drink wine.
Oh, well, that's all right.
Would you like to reply to Jenny with that one?
Yeah, I'm flying the flag for the girls. Girls are doing it for themselves as well. Cheers.
Absolutely. Cheers, girls. Not a problem whatsoever.
I've taken my bra off. I've put my comfy pajamas on, and I am sat here with my glass of rosé.
What I think is lovely is that you've had the kind of equality of letting girls into the man cave. That's a nice thing. I think that's a good thing.
Well, we didn't want to exclude them, to be fair.
I think that's important.
Well, I mean, the whole point of the show really is that we want men to be able to turn around and talk to each other, be honest, be open, understand, and we got things to talk about that people will get that. But really, and most importantly, and every female in Watch It is about to hate me, it's about making sure that women understand men a bit better.
That was
now I'm going to address the slight silence after your comment. Simon would like women to understand men better. We would like just everyone to understand everyone better, because in this politically incorrect world, it's better to be safe than sorry.
I think what you're doing is great. I think it's a lovely thing that we're even doing this, and the fact that technology has allowed us to be able to do this, because I had a conversation with somebody in the Lyric Lounge thing that I did the other night about the fact that if we had been doing this lockdown 20 years ago, we would have been on dial-up, and basically you would have got my tank top slowly, kind of like that. And it would have took about half an hour just to get the first sentence out. So we're actually living in interesting times.
Definitely. We got to. I'm just watching us. So we go along. Jackie Bale says, "Oh, we understand men." Mm.
But Jackie's lovely. That's why she understands everything.
Yeah, but then to be fair, Jackie's got Mark. How difficult is it to understand Mark? I mean, he's the perfect man at the end of the day.
He's a good guy. He's one of the good guys.
Absolutely.
See, I found something on YouTube a little while ago, and it is, to me, it explains things perfectly. And it's a psychologist who's all about. He's got basically one of these little ceramic heads in front of him, and he says that men's brains are made up of little boxes. And there's a box for the mortgage. There's a box for the car. There's a box for the kids. There's a box for the wife. Everything that happens is all in these little boxes. None of these boxes ever touch. They are all very, very simple. Then you go over to a lady's brain, and it's all wires. So they've got the mortgage, which is also a wire that's got a little wire that's attached to the car, which is attached to the kids. You've got to have a car for this. You've got to do this with this kids, and you've got to have this and this and the other. Men are very simple people. When someone says, what's wrong? And a man says, nothing, chances are there is nothing wrong. However, that is not what it seems women think. If you say nothing's wrong, suddenly there is a list of possible things that could be going through your head. When in fact, it is, what colour's a Smurf go if you choke it? See, simple things like that.
Like the guy that drives the snowplow, how does he get to work in the morning on a bad day?
Exactly. See?
Just throwing it out.
These are the things that go through men's minds.
Going back to what Simon was saying earlier about Trump, we had this conversation earlier about the fact that, I mean, obviously there's this whole thing about mental health, but I do actually think, and this is not to take away from the fact that he's a massive asshole. Am I allowed to call him an asshole on? I've just haven't I? It doesn't matter.
It's after 9 o'clock. It's fine.
He's an asshole, but despite the fact that he's an asshole, I genuinely think he's mentally ill, and I think that there should be possibly, I don't know how they vet these things, but I do think that somebody like Trump, or if you're in a position of being, the president or the prime minister of any country, maybe there should be some kind of mental health vetting that they go through before they get that top job, because. I mean, we saw it with Reagan. Reagan obviously was suffering with Alzheimer's at the time, but Trump, I think there's something wrong with him. I don't think he certainly lacks compassion that most human beings also have. So yeah, I worry for the Americans and my friends in America, but I also kind of just think the world's in a bit of a scary place at the minute, because he's basically just said, no, we're not going to play ball with anybody now. We're just going to keep going, because obviously he wants to get elected again. God, woe betide the Americans if he gets back in. I mean, it's worrying.
But it's like I read today that, when it comes to restarting an economy, you need people who can analyse businesses and this and the other. And I read today that the two people he's going to use to restart the economy is Dana White, the guy who's in charge of UFC,
and the guy from the
Vince McMahon, the guy in charge of the WWE.
Oh, that
just filed for bankruptcy.
Why don't they just get Macho Man Randy Savage? But is he still alive? I'm hoping he is. I'm hoping I've not just dug myself a hole big enough for the Undertaker to fill. But
no, he's definitely still alive, mate. He's on the show next week.
Oh yeah. No, I just think it's worrying. I mean, we think we've got a bit of a shit show at the minute with what we've got, but I mean, let's be honest. At least we're not America, and that's that. I mean, that is getting England off the hook pretty bad, isn't it?
Did you?
Yeah,
see
I mean, this is it. But like last week, the news was all England this, Boris Johnson that, Dominic Raab, and now it's all Trump. Now it is literally like what's going. You have to search halfway down the BBC News website to find what's going on in England, because the US seems to have just taken some sort of.
I think that there's two reasons for that. I think one, it may be that they're trying to shift the blame very quickly because they've realised what a mess we've got here, but also because it is a monumental mess over there. And let's be honest. I mean, we were talking earlier, me and Simon, about the fact that he's actually younger than my granddad, and I wouldn't trust him with the remote controls for the telly. Never mind the button that can blow the planet up. He's not right. Not that we're getting political, but he's not right. And I feel sorry for the Americans more than him. But you have to question if he's fit for the job. Yeah.
There's a good comment that's just coming from Dave Milton. He said it's the one with most money wins.
Yeah, it is. That's the thing. That's the one big. Actually, it's not the big difference with us and the Americans, because I do suppose that here money still talks, but in America, it is very much a case of you've not got the money to run, you don't run. And, you know, he's got the money, you know, he's certainly got that.
Yeah, but he's keeping.
Whether he's got the brain capacity to cope with it is another thing altogether.
Did you see the bit that came out this week that he stopped 2.5 million dole checks from going out because his signature wasn't on them? They've had to be reprinted.
Well, he used a potato stamp.
I think what they should have done, if that had been the case, is made him sit down and write his signature on all of them, because he loves doing that anyway. You see him in the Oval Office signing things like he's, you know, he looks excited about that. That looks like the highlight of his day. He doesn't know what he's signing. It could be blank checks to anywhere, but maybe.
We'll find that out in a minute because he's on after you, mate.
He's on next.
He's in the waiting room at the moment listening to you. Yeah. So anyway, on to the reality of actually why you're here. You know, the boys, you guys.
Sorry, for a second there, I thought Sam had gone.
No, Sam's been gone for ages, Scott, honestly. So yeah, you guys, the boys, the band, how's it going? How are you all dealing with this?
I mean, since let me think, we did our last show in Derbyshire, in Melbourne, not in Australia, in Melbourne, in Derbyshire, which was like I think it was like the third or fourth night of what was meant to be our spring tour. And then as time went on, we knew that we got a sold out show in Barnsley, and as the week progressed, we're starting to see that all of a sudden on the news it was looking more serious, and all of a sudden people were saying, well, you know, if the show goes ahead, we'll probably not be there. And it was like, you know, we thought, well, what do we do here? Because it was at that point where the government were saying, we're not going to shut the pubs, but we don't want you to go to pubs. And it was like, help us out here. You know, you're not helping us, and you're not helping the pubs, you're not helping the venues, you're not helping anybody by not being decisive. And, you know, so that was awkward. And as the week went on, it got to the point where by the Friday, so we were still going to try and do the show, because the show we were doing on that Saturday night of that week was actually Barnsley old schoolhouse venue, and we were playing along with our friends from the Sweet Chunks band, and we have like a Levelers tribute act, kind of a side act to what both comedy bands do, and we'd sold the show out, and it was meant to be our farewell show. We said we'd only do like a one-off, and then we did about 5 or 6, and then we said, right, farewell show, we'll finish it here. So everyone got a ticket, and sure enough, all this started to happen, and we in the end we said, right, okay, looks very much like it's pointing towards we should not do this, and the advice is that people shouldn't be in a room together. And we just thought 200 people in a small room in Barnsley huddled together like that, that's not a good idea. So we actually made the decision, like the football clubs did and so many other people did, just to say, right, we can't do this, but we're going to postpone the show. We're going to reset the tickets for November time. But what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and find a way to stream the show from the venue. So we were going to go to the venue. The Sweet Chunks were going to come all the way up from Southampton to Barnsley to do the show, but with just us 8 and the sound man in the room, which seems like a really bizarre way of doing things, but we were prepared to do it. And what we did was we did a little crowdfunding thing to get the Sweet Chunks up from Southampton, up from Southampton up to Barnsley to do the show, and we did that. That was fine. And then in the end, Ash, the bass player from the Sweet Chunks, had come down with symptoms of coronavirus. Whether he had it or whether he didn't, nobody knows, because obviously nobody's being tested. But straight away, we'd all been very open with each other and said, if anybody shows any symptoms, we need to be transparent and just say, right, we can't do it. And Ash did, bless him. I mean, he's all right. He's come through. Whatever he had, whether it was or it wasn't, he's all good. But yeah, so we had to cancel the show. And as a result, the whole plan went to pieces. And then I had to do the thing of then saying, right, okay, people have helped donate money to try and get them up here. I had to just go back and refund all the transactions. So it was a right old administrative faff. But at the end of the day, I can completely understand why we're doing this. Why we're all in lockdown and why this is saving lives, even though we can be complacent about it and kind of joke about it, and because as British people we do, don't we? We kind of try and laugh things off.
The British bulldog humour and all the rest
yeah,
of it.
It is. I think there is. I think there is that kind of mentality with British people. We always try and find some light in the darkness, and that, I suppose in some ways it might be a dark humor, but it's not a bad thing to have at a time like this, because we need it. We need some way of letting it out. So yeah, we had to cancel the show, and as a result we then cancelled pretty much, well, once what was great was, so that happened on, I think it was the Wednesday or the Thursday of that week, where we realized we couldn't do the show. And then Boris came on telly on the Friday night and just said, right, by the way, everyone's in lockdown. And then the show would have been cancelled anyway. So it actually worked out, we timed it right, even though we didn't try to. But it was a right ball ache, just trying to get it sorted. And as far as, we're concerned at the minute, our next gig officially is, we've got 2 shows to celebrate the band's 14th birthday, which are in the West Country. So we're down in Tallerton in Devon on the Friday night, and we're down with you guys down in Washford on the Saturday night. And as it is at the minute, I'll be brutally honest, looking at the way this lockdown's going and from what everybody's saying, they keep saying we'll follow the signs. I don't know what the science is that they're following, but they're following some signs somewhere. It is looking quite clear that very little's going to happen in the music industry until, well, at the minute, all of the festivals that we have been booked for are now pushed back to August. There's only one that we've got that's on the last weekend, the July-August weekend, that hasn't been cancelled yet or postponed. So other than those 2 shows in the West Country, we've got nothing in the diary until the very end of July. And I'll be honest, I can't see how that will go. I can't see how it'll go ahead, but we'll leave it on at the minute in hope. And what I'll say to anybody that's watching and watch it at the minute, if we have to postpone, we'll postpone. And what we'll do is we'll just move it to the summer after. We'll keep it at the same weekend for our 14th birthday, our 15th birthday. And we'll just have a bigger party. If we have to do that, we'll do it, because at the end of the day, the public safety is much more important than us having a right good drink. As much as I really love you guys down there, I just think it's more important for you, that we keep everyone safe. So we'll see how it goes.
We've had a couple of questions in, a couple of comments in. Dan Mossman. Dan, I don't know if you know Dan, he's, or remember him, he's one of the electricians. Well, he thinks he's an electrician, to be fair, but I've taught him everything he knows. And he's going to kill me for that one. But Dan says, Scott, is that Kermit the Frog in your chair behind?
It isn't. No, 1 minute. Hang on. On the chair behind, you've got Emu. And you got me dragon. He's lovely, isn't he? He doesn't speak much. He says Loretta's a twat. Really. Love you, Loretta, if you're watching. He'll ring her later. It's all right. He's got his phone number now.
What have we got here? Dave Milton, good old town crier Dave. Good to see you, mate.
Hi up, Dave. You all right?
And thanks for everything you did in Wedlakes tonight. Cracking! What a brilliant song he did in the town for the 8 o'clock clap. So Dave just made a comment about there's no job for the Punch and Judy. I'm not sure whether it's actually the naughty Punch and Judy he does, or the clean one that he does for the children.
I've seen both, and to be honest, his naughty one's great. Though I don't know how they go on with the social distancing with Judy and Mr. Punch and the crocodile.
He's got a stick.
Sam, we're not going there, mate. What else have we got? Loretta Ann Wetlaw, I think she means treading on thin ice there. I presume she's talking about me again. Although
it might be me, actually.
It could be Scott, because she does say you are definitely a bastard. So,
well, I always questionable parentage was always the way. It was one of the reasons we called the band the Bar-Steward Sons of Doonican, because we always had questionable parentage. Good wine, this, actually. I've realised as time goes on, the more I do these kind of things, the more I'm going to end up getting a reputation as being like a Keith Floyd kind of character. Maybe I could do my own wine connoisseur program on a what day is it? Thursday? I could do it on like a Wednesday or something like that.
I'm just going back and just see if there's anything else in here. Loretta Ann Wetlaw, gin night every night, so I don't know what day it is. Nothing new there though. In any of
There's no surprise.
Look, it's fine. I think a lot of ground rules say that you can start at 9 o'clock until it gets to summer, and then it's when the sun comes up. So fill your boots.
But 9 o'clock where? Because technically, it's 9 o'clock
somewhere.
The time.
Yeah, exactly. Look, let's not tie these rules down. Sometimes you need ambiguity to help you through.
Oh yeah, I mean, at the moment, the way things are going with people panic buying and stuff like that, trust me, cider on your cornflakes isn't as bad as people make out.
I'm loving what's coming in now, because I've actually just worked out how to see everyone's comments. That's about half an hour into the program. But Richard Tricky Hodges, it's like watching a bad version of Grindr, lol.
Of what?
Grindr.
Again, what?
Playing it so cool.
For those of you that don't know, Pat Morty Boys, it's actually Loretta's son. She doesn't know what day it is without gin.
What I do like about this is, obviously, I mean, I'm up here in Barnsley, you guys are down in Watchet, but what is really nice is actually hearing names and hearing from people that we kind of met from doing the festival. And it's amazing to think, and big shout out to Jackie and Mark, actually, because the first time we came to Watchet was 2013. So 7 years this year we'll have been coming to the town. And the very first time we came, I fell in love with the place. I just thought it was small and it was quaint and it was pretty and it was just different, But in so many ways reminds me of Barnsley because the people are friendly, and it doesn't matter where you go in the town. There seems to be a real sense of community. I hope that is actually true and that it's not just that they put it on for when we're there.
It's the thing is, what I love is anything that happens in Watchet is all massively community. That's the sole focus of everything. And the biggest thing like this year is like coming up, the wheelbarrow race coming up. And now I've been planning our wheelbarrow since last year, planning on what we were going to build, how we were going to build it, everything. Got all excited as soon as Kevin Prescott appeared in the Star with the entry forms. I had one filled out, ready to go, and then all this happened. This has broken my year.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, as it is, some of the big festivals that we've been booked for, we were really genuinely excited because, we're not a big band. We very much are that. We're the band that organisers book for that afternoon on a Sunday slot when everyone's either absolutely mashed or that they're absolutely knackered after a weekend of hard partying and they want something to laugh at before a big ending. We know our place on the festival bill. We've always kind of knew exactly where we sit, and we're quite happy and quite proud to be in that spot. But the years of kind of doing pubs and working our way up onto the festival circuit and then getting to the point where we're, our first year at Watchet on the main stage, Watchet, I think, were the very first festival to book us for a main stage slot. And and we got it by accident.
How much did you actually pay Mark and Jackie to get on that?
Well, believe it or not, it was complete accident. So I'll tell you the story. I was sat in our caravan in the on the hill at the back, and somebody knocked on the door and just said, Jackie wants to see you in the office. And because I'm an ex-primary school teacher, I genuinely just thought, oh shit, I'm in trouble for something. What have I done? guilty conscience, I suppose. But I genuinely just thought, what have I done? Yeah. And obviously, when we're in Watch It, what happens in Watch It stays in Watch It. We always have a drink, we always have a party. And, even when we're not playing on stage, we're usually, like this and on the site, just, with the punters having a great time. So I just thought, I've obviously done something wrong. I'm probably in trouble. I'd never been on the wrong side of Jackie. She's always been absolutely lovely. So I was genuinely worried and went into the office and she said, there's a band, Barbarella's Bang Bang. And I think it was their driver or something like that. Had either broken his leg or broken his leg. He'd broken something. And they couldn't get a driver to get them from, might have been London to Watch It on time. And it was a case of, we might have to move their slot to later in the day, or we might have to move them to the other stage. Would you be prepared to do their slot on the main stage, and then we might cancel your other stage slot, or if they don't turn up, you might still get that anyway? And we're like, yeah, we're here. Why not? And we got that main stage slot, and what a massive difference that made. Once we'd done the main stage, it overnight, it meant that, like, people were seeing the footage of, because obviously they've got the video team and everything else, people seeing what we did. And my attitude was, it's just any other show. It makes no difference of whether it's in front of 5,000 people to watch it, or if it's in front of 10 people in the Blues Bar in Harrogate. It's a show. You put on a show and you have a bloody good time. You enjoy yourself as much as the audience do, and you're going to have a great time. So we went out and we just did what we would have done if we had been, in a small venue, and it made such a difference. I mean, I can't thank Jackie and Mark enough. I mean, it's just Watch It did make a massive, and it's one of the reasons why now, even though we're from Barnsley and we've got hardly any following in our own hometown, our fan base in Barnsley is probably less than 100, I'm sure. We can come to the West Country, to Dallon, to Tellerton in Devon, which is next to where Beautiful Days goes on, or we can come to Washford next to you guys, and we know that those shows will usually sell out a year in advance because of what Watch It Festival did for us. So, I mean, I'll always be indebted to Mark and Jackie and all the team at Watch It, Loretta and everybody that's involved, for the fact that they give us that chance. We'd be nothing in the West Country if it weren't for them. It's just it was a big deal for us. So, thanks.
That's cool. I've got to stop you there because Jackie's actually still watching this, and I know that in that house at the moment their heads are swelling. They're just going to go, well, we made you.
Right.
That's because you know what they're like for that sort of thing.
I'll tell you what. Just before, so we did Glastonbury last year, and that was a big deal because I always said I'd never do Glastonbury unless they booked us. Now, it wasn't to be big-headed. It was just a case of I didn't feel that if they didn't book us, then we weren't worthy of doing it, and therefore we shouldn't do it. And probably much the contention of the band. I think the band probably just said, no, get it playing and get, we can probably do this now. And I just didn't. I always kind of held back. And we finally got asked to do it. And I'll be honest, I was dead chuffed that we did get asked. But what I thought was lovely, I bumped into Mark and Jackie, I think it was outside the Avalon Inn. And he just says, well, they finally caught up with, what we've been saying for years about you guys. And I just thought, what a lovely thing to say. And I mean it when I say it. Watch It as a town actually kind of, as if it weren't for the fact that we do live in Barnsley, it's a long way away. I'd be there every weekend. Mainly for the fact that you've got Pebbles Tavern. It's a great little loser, isn't it?
Other pubs and inns are available in Watch It. You know, we're not.
There are. I'm not going to narrow it down because I mean we drank in most of the pubs we watch it. To be fair,
you have to say that because Ross Star Inn is actually also watching as well.
Oh, that's not the one. We've been in the Star. Mark and Jackie took us for a meal in the Star, and it was lovely. It was very nice food.
Oh, Ross is just wet himself. Right.
Good.
Oh, my bum's famous. So how are the other guys anyway? We haven't got long. We've actually overstepped it a bit, but we're not on a specific time. But
I've not seen them obviously because Alan's about 25, 30 miles from us, and Bjorn was 50 miles from us, but he's now about 8 miles kind of that way. Not that helps anybody watch it. He's moved back to Barnsley. He's moved back in with his mum and dad while this is going on, so that he's not living in the middle of Nottingham. But yeah, Alan's an accountant during the daytime, and at the minute, most of his accountancy work, or a big chunk of it, is actually in a care home. So he's very much on the front line. So I'm not.
Is that his age?
No. Sadly not. No, and he has said how scary it's getting quite, at the minute, and I really feel for him, and that's why people haven't really seen much of him or Bjorn. Bjorn kind of came off Facebook during this because when we were talking about mental health, it's quite overwhelming, and he just said, I've come off Facebook and I feel a lot better. I've switched off the news, I've switched off Facebook, and I feel better. I actually felt that Facebook was really useful because it's allowed me to still talk to people and still be sociable. But I mean, in full credit, I mean, our fans are lovely, but I've also got the support of Amanda in the house as well, because they always say behind every good man, and I've got Amanda here. I can't think of anybody better to be stuck in lockdown with, because although I'm sure there's days she probably wants to kill me. It's nice to have somebody there, to have. I mean, she's had a bit of a wobble tonight. I give her a hug, and I've had wobbles myself, and she's given me a hug, and you get through it, don't you? You just try and find a way through the shit, and it's not going to be easy. There'll be people watching this right now, and I can honestly say that there'll be a bunch of people that are watching right now that'll probably be thinking, yeah, I had that wobble as well, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with that. That's human. It's how you bounce back, and we will bounce back as a society. I'm pretty sure.
And this is it. I was saying this to Simon earlier about how arguments and things like that, like little tiffs and stuff in the houses, are completely different to how they normally are. Whereas if we have a little spat or something, and then I bugger off to work, you've got an entire day for that to stew and brew and boil over. Whereas now, because you both know that you're going to be stuck in that, you can't go anywhere, you can't disappear from it. So it's a case of have an argument, half an hour later, do you want a cup of tea? Do you want something to eat? And that's it, and it's done. Next minute you're in washing up and baking stuff with each other.
And I mean, the thing is, me and Amanda, we're quite volatile, We're both very, we say what we think, and as a result of that, it doesn't make it easy, but we always know where each other stand, and that's a good thing, I suppose. But it just means that when either of the two of us do have a moment and we do explode, my usual reaction is to walk away, and I'll just find another space in the house, usually this room actually. I'll come in here and I'll play my guitar or something. I'll just have a minute while it all calms down, give her time to calm down, and then go back and we'll sort things out. But and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's good that you have that space to do it. What I always find is that if we do have an argument, if she wants to have that last word, she will follow me around the house until. But fair enough, I can completely understand why she would. We've in fairness, we haven't really argued much at all during the lockdown, which has been nice. That's something really positive. Because we do. We're both quite headstrong. Is that?
Yeah.
That's what makes the Doonicans work, because she's as much the brains of the operation as I am. It does help to have somebody that's very much you think of somebody as your wingman. Amanda's my wingman.
Yeah, well, funny enough, we had the same conversation before we came on air with me and Sam. I was talking about his mum, and we're typically actually not dissimilar to you in that respect. We both have quite strong opinions in our own ways, and at home typically we probably push those points to the limit sometimes. And what we found, it's been quite weird that doing the helpline here, having absolutely no business whatsoever at all left, we've got nothing, we've earned nothing for 6-7 weeks now, whatever it is, 6 weeks, there's been virtually nothing coming in. So putting ourselves into this to try and help the town, which is typical Watch It people, this is what we do. And the support we're giving each other in getting through this has been phenomenal. And it's quite surprising how you can change your whole way of life, and how you suddenly then realize that actually what you were doing before all this coronavirus shit was wrong. It's actually coming quite nice.
I think this will change society. I do think it will.
Yeah.
Whether it changes it for the good or not, I don't know. But I do think somebody's got to change. If it doesn't change, there's something wrong with people. Yeah.
I think people have started to appreciate more, regardless of who it is, whether both of you work or any one of you work, whoever it is in a household, whether it be male or woman. I think everyone in the household is starting to appreciate what people do in the house more than anything now, because they see it firsthand. I mean, I was saying to Mum and Simon the other day that I find it quite hard at the moment, because I've been furloughed. I've still got money coming in, but I'm not doing anything for it. So it doesn't feel like I'm earning, it doesn't feel like I'm bringing in a wage for my family or anything like that. At the same time, I'm the only person who can go out of my house to go and get essentials, to go and get food and stuff like that. So anyone in our house, if they end up with the virus, essentially that comes down to me. That's my fault. Yeah. Because I'm the only person who can leave the house. I'm the only person who can bring it in.
Responsibility, I think. I mean, as it is, Amanda's done, most of the shopping. She's actually, took that bullet and gone down and done the big shop. And I suppose in my respect, the reason I haven't is because of the fact that her mum's quite vulnerable. It's a case of, if anything happens to Amanda, I can then be the person to try and help. Yeah, it's a case of sitting back so that hopefully would be the contingency plan. So me staying here in a bubble, fairly safe. It sounds awful, doesn't it? Yeah, it sounds like it sounds wrong.
Well, but that's the thing. People are reacting differently to it, and the thing is, there are people who are, the thing is, you've got a contingency plan that if something goes wrong with Amanda, then you're there, and that's the biggest thing I've got. I feel a huge weight on my shoulders for it, and it's difficult to sort of relay that to my other half and the kids and stuff. Just saying, don't you quite realise that you think I'm going out for a jolly, going to the shop, whereas in fact I'm going there, and every aisle I go down, I'm shitting a brick, thinking one of these people cough on me, then I could be bringing this home to you lot, and there's nothing I can do about it.
I think this is the thing, isn't it? This is going to be the bit where this generation that's going through this right now, and this goes from us, people above us, kids that are coming through it, that are off school at the minute, that it'll be a time for the history books where, people look back at it and go, how did that happen? What's and how did people deal with it? And I think the truth of it is, everyone's dealt with it differently. I think you're absolutely right.
And that's it. Especially talking about generations as well. People are saying you should be looking after the vulnerable and the people over 70 and things like this and the other. And yet the older generation are the ones that are surviving better through it. That's sort of thing. Well, we've been through this sort of stuff before. It's not an issue. It's the people who rely on technology and everything else, and rely on home delivery and go, I can't get my food delivered for 4 weeks. What am I going to do?
At the same time, I mean,
phone up the Watch It Coronavirus helpline. We'll deliver it.
the flip side of this, I actually went earlier today to Conisborough, which is about 8 miles from us, to drop off a bag of groceries for Amanda's Auntie Jean, who lives on her own. She's 80 something, 86, I think she is. Turned up at the house to drop off this bag of groceries, and just as I turned up at the house, she comes out of next door's house, having had a glass of red wine. I was like, and I was like, Jane, what are you playing at? And she was just like, well, it's okay. You know, I knew they were okay. You're like, no. She's like, but I do think that because she's of a generation that went through the war, this isn't going to hurt. They've been through the war.
That's it. It's like that Captain Moore. It's just gone, I'll socially distance, but I'm also going to raise a ridiculous amount of money by walking up and down my garden. And I think to be fair, I couldn't do what he's done.
Yeah.
At 33, I walk up there 10 times and go, yeah, to be fair, it's been fun, but done now.
Have you noticed how massive his garden is?
Yeah.
I mean, if he ever done it, he could have come round and done it in our garden. I would have let him, and it would have took him a lot less time.
But that goes to show commitment, doesn't it? At the end of the day,
and fair shakes to him. I think it's lovely that people have had something to believe in. I think that's the important thing, because I've seen a few things on this, and you know, again, people being accused of politicizing it, but the idea that, you know, really, should he have had to do it? Because if the NHS was funded from taxpayers' money as it should be, and the people that should be paying tax pay their tax, would he have to do it? Probably not. At the same time, the fact that he's done it and done such a good, selfless deed, and everyone has just thought, yeah, if he can do it, we can do it. He's done his bit, and I just think that's a lovely thing. So, you know, full credit to him where it's due. And I think, to be honest, the government probably should hang their head in shame that he should even have had to do it. That's the more upsetting thing. And I'm not going to get political on it, but that, I mean, you can't avoid it. It is political. That is a thing. You know.
But I think it's just someone who's done. I don't think he's done it politically.
Oh no, I don't think he has at all. I think
other people 100% made it political. But I think at the moment, the stuff I'm seeing on Facebook, and to be fair, I go on it most days just for comedy value, just to see some of the ridiculous comments about 5G and stuff like that. I saw somebody posted something earlier about 2 blackbirds talking about 5G and how it's killed a pigeon and one of them's eating it, and it's a video that's worth watching solely because it really takes the piss out of this whole 5G conspiracy theory. But seeing that everything, literally every part of this, at the moment, rather than people working together and sticking together and everything else, they've gone, no, let's take a poke at the government, or let's take a poke at this party, let's take a poke at that. Whereas,
like you said earlier, it's the British way of dealing with things, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a dark humour thing.
That from what you just suggested, you're going to get 5G in Somerset.
I will never get 5G in Somerset. It'll never happen. We haven't got 3G yet anyway, so, and we've got to stop this now because we're coming to the end of the show, guys, unfortunately. So as much as I'd love to just carry on talking to you all night long, Jack is bored stiff now. So anyway, right, first of all, Scott, brilliant, mate. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been lovely chatting to both of you, and keep going with it, because it's great that you're actually doing something that's positive. I think it's lovely that Watch It are pulling together, and although I can't be down there at the minute, I'm hoping we'll get there later in the year. But if we don't, and we don't make it there for the festival, I mean, I don't know what's going on with the festival, but I know so many of the festivals are folding. I'm really, everything's crossed that we get to watch it. But if we don't, we'll definitely see you next year. You know, we're not going to neglect Watch It because we love the place. So
absolutely. Well, you're an adopted son of Watch It now. You do realise that, don't you?
That genuinely touched me. Well, all of the band will watch it. So much love to all of you guys and everybody down there who watch it. I hope everybody's okay and keeping safe and mucking in with the war effort. And we'll get through it all. We will do.
We will do, mate. Love to all of your all the guys when you do speak to them. I've got one little thing I need to finish up on. It was a post on Facebook earlier on that my Mrs. Janet, bless her, did pick up on, and it's from a guy whose family are down this way. He actually lives over London way now, but he posed the question: if your vagina or penis was named after the last TV show or movie that you watched, what would it be? My bless her, my darling answered The Repair Shop. And that's it for tonight, folks. We will catch up with you next Thursday, 9 o'clock.
I'm kind of glad that the last film I watched was The Fast and the Furious.
That's bad. I've just watched Bones.
We'll see you next week at 9 o'clock, folks. Scott, again, thank you. Sam, thank you, mate. We will be back with another new guest. We'll let you know who that's going to be during the week. It's somebody that's going to be really interesting. And again, as we said from the start, this is also about the guys being able to talk to each other. It's about mental health in men. So bring your questions on, chuck them up, pass them over to us. We'll talk to our guests about any of your fears and your thoughts and everything else. Thanks all. Good night for now.
Stay safe, folks.
Take care now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.